Hello and welcome. Artificial intelligence can feel incredibly complex, can it? Almost like you're trying to learn a language from another world. But what if it wasn't? What if it was actually simple? Today, we're going to tell a little story that peels back all that complexity to show you the elegant system at the heart of how AI really works. And our story starts with someone who feels just as lost as many of us have.
Meet Adrian. He's up late, and his apartment is lit by the glow of his computer screens, all filled with words that might look familiar to you, things like neural networks, tokens, and embeddings. And he's completely overwhelmed. I mean, we've all been there, right? He's reached that point where he's just ready to throw his hands up and say, I give up.
So just as Adrian snaps his laptop shut and the room goes dark, something happens. A soft, gentle blue light starts to fill the space. And right there, in front of him, a friendly, shimmering hologram flickers into existence. Now, this hologram, it introduces itself as MCP, and that stands for three simple words: model, concept, and protocol. And it's here with a promise. It's going to show Adrian, and all of us, that AI is way simpler than it looks. It all just comes down to understanding these three core layers.
Okay, so here's where things get really interesting. MCP says that to really get a handle on AI, we need a better way to think about it, something way more familiar than a complicated machine. So let's just forget all the code and the circuits for a minute. Instead, let's imagine that AI is a restaurant.
And just like that, Adrian's dark apartment just melts away. And suddenly, he's standing in this bright, futuristic place called the Restaurant of Ideas. You've got glowing ingredients floating through the air, robotic arms working in perfect sync. This is where our journey to understanding really begins.
Every great restaurant has a team, right? Well, in our AI restaurant, the team is made up of three key players: a chef, a menu, and a waiter. So let's go meet them.
First up, let's head into the heart of the kitchen. The model in any AI system? Well, it's exactly like the chef in our restaurant. This is the creative engine right here.
So the chef, our model, is the part of the AI that actually makes things. It takes all the raw ingredients, words, data, different patterns, and it cooks them up into a finished dish. And that dish could be an email, a story, or the answer to a really hard question. It's the generator.
And in that moment, you can almost see the light bulb go on over Adrian's head. He sees the chef skillfully putting a dish together, and he gets its fundamental job. The model is the creator. It's such a simple, powerful idea. Okay, so if the model is our chef, what tells the chef what to create? Well, that's where the second part of our team comes in. Meet the concept, which is basically the restaurant's menu. The menu, our concept, is what defines the style, the tone, and the structure of whatever you're asking for. Are you in the mood for a formal email? Or maybe you want a funny story? Or a step-by-step guide? Each one of these items on the menu gives the chef really specific instructions on how to prepare the information you want. Adrian is watching this glowing menu shift and rearrange itself, and it just clicks. The concept doesn't do the cooking, but it provides the recipe and the rules. It gives shape and form to whatever the model is creating. All right, so we have our chef who creates and our menu that shapes. But how does your order get from your table all the way to the kitchen and then back to you? Well, that brings us to the final member of our team, the protocol, who acts as our friendly and very efficient waiter. The waiter, or the protocol, is the communicator. It's the one that takes your request, makes sure it's clear and follows the restaurant's rules, then carries it over to the chef, and finally brings that finished dish right back to your table. It manages that whole interaction, making sure everything runs smoothly and safely. And there it is, the final piece of the puzzle. Adrian sees the waiter gliding gracefully between the tables in the kitchen, and he completes the mantra in his head. The protocol is the connector. It's that crucial link between you and the creative engine. So we've met the team, we've got the chef who creates, the menu that shapes, and the waiter who connects. Now, let's see how this whole system works together in real time. So imagine Adrian asks for something tricky. He says, "Explain quantum physics like I'm 10 years old." Okay, so first, the waiter, our protocol, takes that order. Step 2, it looks at the menu, the concept, to set the style to simple, playful, and super easy to understand. And finally, step 3, the chef, our model, gets to work, cooking up a fun, age-appropriate explanation. See? It's a totally seamless process. So there you have it. Let's break it down one last time. The model's job is to create, just like the chef.
The concept's job is to shape, just like the menu, and the protocol's job is to connect, just like the waiter. Create, shape, connect. That's the entire system in a nutshell.
Seeing this whole system in action, it changes everything for Adrian. You know that feeling of intimidation he had just a few minutes ago? It's totally gone. And it's been replaced by this feeling of clarity, of empowerment. He's gone from total confusion to real understanding.
And this right here is MCP's most important lesson. You don't need to be an engineer who can build the entire kitchen from scratch. You just need to understand how the restaurant works so you can order from the menu effectively. As that magical restaurant starts to fade away and Adrian finds himself back in his own apartment, this simple mantra just echoes in his mind. Model creates, concept shapes, protocol connects. This is the key that unlocks the whole thing. And that's the real transformation, isn't it? For Adrian, AI isn't some scary alien mystery anymore. It's a tool he can actually understand. It's a partner that he can work with. And that new perspective changes everything. By seeing AI not as a bunch of complex code, but as this simple three-part system of creating, shaping, and connecting, we go from being intimidated to being empowered. So the real question isn't about the technology itself. It's about what you will do with it. What new doors could you unlock? What new ideas could you bring to life now that you know how the restaurant works?